Slide 1. Taken aboard Apollo 8 by Bill Anders, this iconic picture shows Earth peeking out from behind the lunar surface as the first crewed spacecraft circumnavigating the moon with astronauts Anders Frank Boom and Jim Lau aboard. This week in 1969, Apollo 11 landed from NASA Kennedy Space Center carrying astronaut Neil Armstrong, Edwin Buzz Aldrin, and Michael Collins. The primary mission objective to fulfill a national goal set by President John F. Kennedy on May 25th, 1961, to perform a covered lunar landing and return safely to Earth before descent was out. On July 20, Armstrong and Aldrin became the first men to walk on the moon. The two astronauts spent more than 21 hours on the lunar surface deploying sanctified equipment and gathering supplies before returning to the orbiting command module piloted by Collins. This July, in a series of special events, NASA is marking the 50th anniversary of the Apollo program, the historic effort that sent the first U.S. astronauts into orbit around the moon in 1968 and landed a dozen astronauts on the lunar surface between 1969 and 1972. For more picture and content, you may go to NASA's website. The American flag heralds the flight of Apollo 11, the first lunar landing mission. The Saturn V rocket lifted off the astronauts Neil A. Armstrong, Michael Collins, and Edward E. Aldrin Jr. at 9:32 a.m. EDT from Kennedy Launch Complex 39A. Slide 4 is astronaut Edwin E. Aldrin Jr., lunar module pilot of the first lunar landing mission, poses for a photograph beside the deployed United States flag during Apollo 11 excavation activity on the lunar surface. The lunar module LM is on the left, and the footprints of the astronaut are clearly visible in the soil of the moon. Astronaut Neil A. Armstrong, commander, took the picture with a 70mm Hasselblad lunar surface camera with astronaut Armstrong and Aldrin descended in the LM, the Eagle, to explore the Sea of Tranquility region of the moon. Astronaut Michael Collins, commander, module piloted, remained with the Command Service Model Columbia in the lunar orbit. This outstanding view of the full moon was photographs from the Apollo 11 spacecraft during its turned Earth journey homeward. When the picture was taken, the spacecraft was already 10,000 natural miles away. On board Apollo 11 were Commander Neil Armstrong, Commander Module Pilot Michael Collins, and Lunar Module Pilot Buzz Aldrin, with astronauts Armstrong and Aldrin descending in the lunar module Eagle to explore the moon. Collins remaining on the command module. On the 11th of April, 13 Houston time, Apollo 13 set off the moon. Little did NASA and the astronauts on board know that they would soon be embarking on one of the most incredible rescue missions in the history of humanity. Let problems begin before Apollo 13 even lifted off. It was the evening of March 25th, 1970, a Saturn V that would soon carry Apollo 13 to the moon cast a long shadow across Launch Pad 39A. Astronaut Thomas K. McKinley II, Commander Module Pilot of the Apollo 16 lunar landing mission, practices in extraordinary activity training in Building 5 at Manned Spacecraft Center. Mantley is scheduled to perform EVA during the Apollo 16 journey home from the moon. Astronaut John W. Young, commander, can be seen in the left background. In the right background is astronaut Charles M. Duke Jr., lunar module pilot. They are inside the Apollo Command Module Mission Simulator, while Mantley returns with the Apollo 16 Commander and Service Module. And the lunar owner, Young and Duke, will descend in the lunar module. Apollo 17. Photograph of Hudson H. Switchen, lunar module pilot, standing beside the U.S. flag at the landing site. The location is mountains treacherous El Linto region of the moon, southeast of the Scrinches Basin. Apollo 17 was landed on 7th of December 1972. At the right of the picture behind the flag is the lunar rover vehicle. At the left of the picture behind summit is the lunar module Challenger. December 7th, 1972, Apollo 17 began its trip to the moon, the last manned mission of Apollo program. Eugene Cernan became the last man to walk on the lunar surface just 3 years after Neil Armstrong became the first man on the moon. Cernan and Schmidt spent about 3 days on the moon, longer than the previous crew, and lodged over 22 miles on the lunar rover vehicle, traveling almost 5 miles from the lunar lander. They splashed down in the South Pacific December 19th. View of the Earth as seen by the Apollo 17 crew, astronaut Eugene A. Kremen, Commander Astronaut Ronald E. Evans, and Commander Module Pilot and CERN Astronaut Harrison H. Smith, Lunar Model Pilot, traveling toward the moon. This translator coast photograph exhibits from the Mediterranean Sea area to the Antarctic South Polar Ice Cap. This is the first time the Apollo Trinity made it possible to photograph the South Polar Ice Cap. Note the heavy cloud cover in the southern hemisphere. Almost the entire continent of Africa is clear visible. The Iberian Peninsula can be seen at the northern edge of Africa. The large island of the coast of Africa is Majaziran Republic. The Asman mainland is on the horizon toward the northeast.